Oh, is Leanne like jumping up and down? Okay, let's go, Leanne. Let's go.
Funny. Yes, I went like this. I mean,
Okay, okay. So Leanne's jumping up and down. So what I want you to do is as I walk Leanne through this, I want you guys to follow, do it on your own notebook. Is that cool? Okay. So let me see if I can make this a little bit more. Can you guys see the pre-work? Did I do that right? Okay, and then let me spotlight Leanne. Okay, cool. So, Leanne, who's your audience?
my audience. Oh, am I unmuted? A thing just popped
You're
up to
good.
mute.
You're good.
Okay. So my audience is pretty much anyone, but I want to focus on people that have digestive and gut health issues.
Okay. But are you just like, do you have an age range or like what's the demographic?
Pretty much anyone. I'm not picking and choosing because everybody has.
Okay, so I'm gonna actually ask you to pick and choose
Okay.
because if you're talking to a 20-year-old with digestive issues versus a 70-year-old with digestive issues, you're gonna have a much different talk conversation, right?
Okay.
So can we narrow that a little bit?
Yep. So let's go 25 to 55. Is that too broad?
It's pretty broad, but I'll allow it for today.
Okay.
You'll end up hitting people in the outskirts. It's like throwing darts, right? What's the topic you want to talk about or teach about?
Gut health.
Okay. Now you sell products, is that right?
I do.
Okay, so my product people, you cannot make the action buy my product only. So, what this means is no matter what, this has to be a video that is valuable on its own. Now, they can accelerate with product, but you cannot just be like, let me tell you what's going on with your gut health. And by the way, buy this product. Like, it's not a sales video, it's a value video, it's a teaching video. So, two actions. First, action number one, right, for the teaching video, that's going to be like, what is one action that they can take from what you're teaching? So, what do you think that would be? What's one action you want them to take?
Uh, do a food journal, see what they're putting into their body first.
Okay, great. Action, and then what's the next step for them?
Next step, they could get on a call with me and we could go over like a health survey.
Okay, great. Now, okay, so now the action that we're talking about here is the food journal. What are the steps that they need to take in order to do a food journal?
Grab a piece of paper and a pen and just write down everything they're putting into their body. I guess I could make a chart.
You don't have to make anything necessarily. Where might I get stuck?
Um,
I might not
deciding,
I might not have that piece of paper with me when I'm eating.
okay, keep a journal in your phone, in your notes.
Okay. How long am I writing this down for?
I would like you to do it for 3 to 5 days.
Which one, three or five?
Let's go 3.
Okay, so step one is paper notes. Step two, write down. Step three, 3 days. What do they need to believe in order to complete the steps? Now, this is the one that's tricky because what we want to do a lot of times is we're like, hey, everyone, do these things. Have a great day. But our beliefs are what impact our actions. And so if we don't actually address the beliefs, then it doesn't stick. So, Leanne, what do you think they need to believe in order to complete the steps?
That they actually have a problem. That's what I think. I don't know.
Okay, what else do you think they need to believe?
That they're capable of doing a food journal, that it isn't hard. And yeah, like they want the results. They want to get over they want to get to the other side of not having that.
Okay, cool. Congratulations.
Would I say that I have been on this journey at all? Like, would I tell them that I have been down the path or no?
Do you think they need to believe that it works?
I think so. That's where I was struggling.
Okay. So the beliefs I have is they have a problem. This isn't hard. They want to get to the other side and they want to believe that it works. This is okay. So that took 2 minutes, right? But look how much further along we are on the video. Okay. Now we have a couple of structures that we're going to walk through. Leanne, I'm going to unpin you for a moment.
Okay.
And I'm going to come back to this. Add pin, replace pin, remove spotlight. Okay. I'll keep my spotlight. All right. So once we do work, we have two different structures that we can use to create our video. There we go. Okay. Number one, we're going to do now the beginning and the end is going to be the same no matter how you're doing your video. Okay. So we're going to have an agenda and we're going to plant seeds for the call to action. We're going to have, in this particular video, we're going to have a story that demonstrates the problem. So in this case, Liam, this could be a personal story, or it could be it can be any sort of story. We're going to explain why this problem is happening. So the story and the why this is happening is usually what helps with the beliefs part. Then we're going to do steps. We can do between 3 and 5 steps, although I prefer 3 because it's just less, right? When people are on Facebook, they typically don't have a notepad handy, right? So part of the trick is that this isn't too dense and isn't too heavy, and they don't have to take notes. So we would do 3 steps is really easy, like a lot easier for people to remember, which is why we like 3 for this. If you need to go to 5 because it's what's right, like I do run into like a range of this, and I somehow have been stuck on getting 4 steps in order to complete something properly. And I don't know why, but that's still like small enough where people can understand. We're going to do the step and then an example. And then we can do a success story where you might get stuck. And we'll do a quick recap at the end. So that's one structure. This is the step model. Structure B still has an agenda with the call to action, but we're going to do a scenario. So let's say you're in this very common scenario. What most people do is this thing. Maybe here's why it doesn't work. Try this instead. Why this works, right? Here's a success story. Here's how to implement this. Sometimes steps are there, but sometimes just one thing. You know, here are some examples. Here's a recap and a call to action. Some quick thoughts on this, right? When you're looking at that outline, it feels like a lot of steps, right? Kind of a lot of steps. But it's a lot easier to break down a video into a bunch of little steps where you have 1 or 2 bullets than to sit down and be like, I need to record a video today. Right? Which is more overwhelming truly from like your nervous system perspective? Record a video or fill out template with 10 items? Yeah, just record one video. So a lot of times, you know, our action gets stuck because our action isn't broken down in small enough pieces. This kind of explains like why I was panicking when writing day 4 content for this upcoming week, is because when I sat down to do it, I was like, write day 4 content. And it was like this really big thing versus do the recap, write down what's hard, write down what, right, follow, instead of following this format. And so, even as someone who does this like every day, all the time, when I skip ahead to record video versus fill out template, I get stuck as well. So if you have gotten stuck writing videos and you're like, I don't want to be stuck doing that anymore, don't skip steps. The shortcut is often the long way. Sitting down to be like, I just need to outline a video real quick doesn't happen. But if you go through each of these, it's going to be a lot easier. How does that feel to everyone? That feel better? Okay, cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pull up the workbook. I think it's going to be a little bit easier for us to manage this. Okay, can you guys see the workbook? Give me a thumbs up. Okay, cool. Okay, at the very end, I gave you two templates. They look like this, right? Structure A template, that's the step template. Structure B, so the difference between structure A and structure B, I know I should probably have better, cooler names for this, but oh well. Maybe next year when we do this. The difference is like one thing versus many steps, I think is really the way I look at this. And in order, like a lot of stuff, like what you'll, or I don't have a lot to say on the topic. What helps with a lot to say is not cramming it with more stuff because it's really hard to consume. What helps with the like stuff I'm going to say are things like um, the stories, the examples, and the where you might get stuck. And most people don't do those parts, but those are the parts that show compassion, right? Taking a minute to say, hey, here's where you might get stuck is a step that I sometimes forget to take in my videos, but it's the one that shows a lot of compassion. And that's a good couple minutes when you go through that. And so those are the little pieces that make these videos more substantial. So in this case, Leanne, I think that structure A is going to be a pretty good fit for this particular thing.
I do
Now,
too.
I do not think, guys, that we need to write out word for word on any of these because then I think we get really, really like my kids would call it cuckoo banana head. Cuckoo banana head. When I write a scripted video, Karen like can't is like stop, just stop. It takes me 50 takes. It doesn't even look right. I do much better with bullet points and being able to imagine someone that I'm speaking to. So let's go ahead and try to write and outline this video for Leanne. Okay, and you guys can outline on the side on your own. Spoiler alert, the assignment is to outline a video. So if you like do this now, then it's gonna be fine. All right. Leanne, we're going to start off with the agenda. So what are we going to cover today in this video? And this is just going to be first draft.
Gut health or digestive problems.
Well, let's be specific. So what's the specific problem that we're going to talk about?
Digestive issues.
Okay. Okay, I'm actually come back to the agenda after. Okay, so what's a story that demonstrates the problem?
That they haven't pooped in sometimes a week.
Okay, so have you talked to someone who hasn't pooped in a week? Or
Yep.
okay, so let's say person X. I'm not even gonna like use one of somebody else's names because I don't want you guys to get upset. So we're gonna use an actual story here.
Okay.
Right? Like I was talking to X. They hadn't pooped in a week. And why is that problematic?
Because toxins are funneling through their body.
Okay, but how does this make them feel when they haven't done it?
Yucky.
They felt yucky. And we're gonna just like more on this, right? This is how they feel yucky because the toxins are there. And why are the toxins there?
Because they're not getting excreted out to the curb. They're not
Okay,
pooping
but
them
why
out
are they not getting excreted?
because they're backed up. They've got some issues happening.
And why?
Why we need to get to the bottom to why it's actually happening.
Okay, but your argument here is because of what they're eating, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we need to get to it. What are they eating that is causing it? Is that right?
Yeah. Junk in, junk out, right?
Okay, so be careful on judgment though.
Yeah. No, I'm just
Yeah,
using
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah. Well, we're making an outline, so we won't
yeah.
put it. Okay, so step one is grab a paper or notes in your phone. And the difference, like between just saying, do step one, step two, step three, is you actually want to demonstrate a little bit. So if you have a piece of paper, you'll be like, see, here's an example of one day of my food journal. Right? So show example of journal. Right? We're going to write it down. Step two, we're going to do this for 3 days, but you're actually missing a step in this because, like, what do I do once I have my food journal?
Okay.
So what do I do once I have my food journal?
Once they have their food journal, then they can contact me to review it. If
Okay,
they
so
want.
that's buying something.
No, they can just go over like a health questionnaire. They don't have to buy anything.
Okay, so I want an actual like action that I can do that's valuable on my own.
Okay.
If that's possible.
Um, they could just, I guess, review to see if they know what's happening.
Yeah, so we might just be look for trends that make you feel yucky. Feel yucky, stop it. Fine. Now you can give an example. And so X person, right, did this, etc. Right? So we can now do a success story. We'll take this maybe a different person, or I did this, and before I was feeling blank, now I'm feeling blank. Right? So we have a success story for this particular thing. So this is where a lot of people that are doing products, like it's like everything leads to back to the product, but then it doesn't actually give them a quick win. And so we need to have a quick win in order to build the trust. Where might they get stuck when it comes to doing a food journal?
It might be overwhelming because once they start realizing what they're putting in, they don't want to continue doing it. They don't. They really don't.
Okay, so how do you get them to keep doing it?
They can, if they want to call or text me.
Okay, so you're still making yourself the solution.
Okay, encouragement. Okay,
Yeah, so look
push
at you guys
through
have
it.
seen
Just
me do
push
the where
through.
you might get stuck over and over and over again, right?
Yeah.
So I don't make those where do you get stuck on every training? I don't make them just join our coaching program, right? That wouldn't feel good, would it?
Mm.
If every time you guys were like, I'm stuck, you're like, well, then join the coaching program. Like, what a jerk. Okay. Compassion. If they want to stop after 1 day, what would you say to them? Just to get them to complete the 3 days.
I would just say to try to stick through it, even if it is overwhelming for you. Just complete the 3 days.
Just acknowledging that they want to stop is showing that compassion and going to help them to troubleshoot. Just like acknowledging that videos can be uncomfortable. I also was like, yeah, and we're going to have to do them anyway, right? But just acknowledging that takes the air out of the room, right? Takes the pressure down, makes it more likely that people will try. Then we do a recap and then the action that we're going to do, right? So we're going to recap, right? So today we talked about, the gut, you need to poop, right? Step 1, 2, 3, right? And the action I want you to take is do your food journal. Do a food journal for 3 days. Now, if you would like to accelerate your digestive health, right? Go faster, easier. Let's have an actual conversation. Right? Type chat below and we can talk about what's happening with you and do a health survey and get these issues cleared up right away. How does this feel, Leanne?
That feels much better. It was overwhelming when I looked at the paper at the start here.
Yeah. Okay. So
But
what helped?
I think the biggest thing that helped for me, like even if I were someone listening to this video, is like you said, acknowledging the where you might get stuck. Because I don't ever think I acknowledge where people are going to get stuck.
Yeah. I miss that one a lot too. Right? I get caught up in the like, let me just teach this stuff really quickly. And there we
And
go.
think it
Right?
through.
Yeah, we don't think it through. Okay, how do we do on this? Good? All right. I'm going to breeze through these next few slides here.